My name is Shadae. I'm 20 years old. I have a 4-year-old daughter. Her name is Angelica. Before I found out I was pregnant, I was living with my dad. I was pretty active within my school systems. I was in sports, clubs, different kinds of groups. I got good grades. I didn't go out much because I wasn't allowed to, so it was basically school and home and back and forth. Um, Angel's father was like the first guy I was in a relationship with. Um, we met and then we started talking, and then we became sexually active with each other, and then shortly after I found out I was pregnant. I wasn't taking birth control because I always heard like birth control is bad for you, it's gonna like give you like blood clots in your leg or all the bad side effects, so I thought it wasn't for me. Me and Angel's dad, we weren't using any protection, we used the pull-out method. After we did it, I kind of like knew I was pregnant. I just knew. So I decided to wait like a month to see if my monthly cycle will come. So within that time, I wasn't sure how Angel's father would react, so I basically gave him a scenario. I was like, oh, I have a friend, she thinks she might be pregnant, but she's not sure. If this was your girlfriend, like, what would you tell her to do? And he's like, he would be there and help to support if it was his girlfriend. So I was like, okay, so that was kind of reassuring for me at the time. So my period didn't come, and my friend was like, I should go get a pregnancy test. So I went to Shoppers and I got one. I was on the phone with her. I took the test and it was positive, and then she was freaking out. She's like, your dad's gonna kill you. I feel sorry for you. She's like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry for you right now. She's like, I don't know what you're gonna do. But at that time, like, it didn't really hit me. I was just like, oh, I'm pregnant, like, whatever. It didn't really register to me that this was actually happening. I'm not sure if it was shock. I just think I just refuse not to like accept that I was like one of those girls, because I thought I would have been one of those girls who became pregnant at a young age. So I went to school to like ask for advice, and my guidance counselor, my principal, they were pretty supportive because I had a good relationship with them. So my principal decided that it was best to have a meeting with her, me, and my dad the Monday, so I wouldn't have to like stay with him for the whole weekend, because she's from a Caribbean background as well. So I was like, okay, this is great. Things are going a little decent. But then I told my auntie, told her don't say anything. But then she went and told my grandma. My grandma told my dad, and then it was like a disaster from there. I went home the Friday night, got home late. My room was ripped upside down. He was basically like, oh, you're pregnant. He's like, your grandma told me. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, oh, you think this is funny? And I'm like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, I'm not going to help you. You're going to have to prostitute to take care of your child. You're just another stats. You're such a disgrace. And he was not supportive at all. So my dad stopped supporting me financially when I was about 2.5 months pregnant. So I decided to call Kids Help Phone to ask them if there's any resources that helped young moms, and they told me about Jesse's. Okay, so I've never taken like the train or came downtown before, so this was all a new experience. I had no idea how I would like be able to come here. So like I searched my whole entire apartment to find like change so I can have like bus fare to come to Jesse's. And then I was 15, so this was all like nerve-wracking for me, traveling by myself for the first time. So I came all the way down here. When I first walked in, everyone was welcoming. They're like, hi, how can I help you? And I was like all shy and quiet. And I'm like, I called, you guys said I can come to meet a counselor, and I'm 3 months pregnant. And I'm like, and yeah. So when I came here, my counselor told me about the different programs they had. For example, there was the parenting group, Food for Two, and also there was a program with a dietitian that you met one-on-one. I met a few people here, which I'm still friends with till this date. Um, I enjoy coming here because I don't have a lot of family in Canada, and I stopped talking to many people from high school. So whenever I came here, it was like my second family. I'll just come and I'll go to the nursery upstairs and I'll hang out with the other moms and their children and with the staff. My dad ended up kicking me out when I was like 5 months pregnant. So because I was 15, I had to go in children's daycare. And they took me to a foster home all the way in Brampton, which I did not like. I didn't know anyone. I had to change doctors, so I was like, if you guys keep me here, I'm gonna do something really bad to myself. They're like, okay, what do you want? And I was like, well, there's no service here that I can access. There's no one to talk to. It's totally isolated. My foster mom was kind of like really strict. And then they're like, okay, we'll put you in a group home, and then we try to like find somewhere from there on. So that was kind of better for me. So I was due September 11, 2010. So I called Angel's dad and I told him I think I'm in labor, and he was like, okay. And then he came, and then we went to the hospital together. Since I was living at Rosalie Hall and I've had the experience of being at Jessie's and interacting with other babies, I think I was pretty comfortable going home with her. So I broke up with Angel's dad when I was about 5.5 months pregnant because it wasn't a healthy relationship, and I decided that it wasn't best for me. During my pregnancy, he came around on and off, and after she was born, he would come like around the winter time once or twice. Whenever it was summertime, he was nowhere to be found. When Angel was about 1.5, he got deported, and I was kind of happy about that because I didn't have to deal with him. But before he got deported, I did take him to court, and I got full custody of Angel and child support, but I would never get child support because he's not in Canada anymore. Right now, he texts me or calls occasionally, but that's only because his brother forces him to do it. Since last year, Jessie's have helped me got community housing, so I currently live with my daughter. I started my first year of college in September 2014, and Angelica also started her first year of elementary school. I would say at this age, it's kind of easier. The only struggle is like trying to like find different types of lunch to send her to school with, or like trying to discipline her. She's become like, her attitude has changed since she's been in school, and it's like I have a teenager. Currently I'm taking a general arts and science program at George Brown. Eventually I'm thinking to go to the University of Toronto and take criminology, and depending how I feel in the next 4 years, I want to go to law school. Angel, she loves school. She always like wants to read. Sometimes I'll like be like, oh, I'll read that book later, because she always wants to read or do something that involves learning. She's taken swimming classes, which she really likes, because she wants to be a mermaid. I want people to know that, yes, like, I'm young and I have a child, but that doesn't make me a slut or a bad person. There's a lot of people who do have intercourse at my age, just some don't get pregnant. And even though some do, not everyone keeps their child, and I made that choice to continue with my pregnancy. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it teach me a lot how to be responsible and how to be more giving and caring and understanding. I never used to have patience, but with a child, that's something you definitely need to have, because it takes a lot of patience to grow a child. And I don't know, like, I love my daughter. She's an amazing child. And if you ever see a young mom, don't think, oh, she's a bad person, because everyone has their struggles, and it's just another stepping stone to becoming who you want to be.